Howdy y'all, and welcome to the MrMaple Show. We got Matt and Tim in studio. We're going to be telling you a little bit about our recent visit from famed nurseryman Nakada-san.
Now, Nakada-san came with his daughter Ayaka, and they were able to travel around with us and see a lot of cool things and cool gardens here in Western North Carolina.
We're going to give you a little overview of some of the places we traveled. Peter and Jasmine Gentling opened their garden up, which is quite amazing. It's called Bluebriar. We're going to be giving you a complete walkthrough of this place. Some of the first metasequoias into the United States are at this garden. It's really phenomenal. It was one of Nakada-san's favorite places we visited.
Yeah, Nakada-san really liked this garden because it incorporated Japanese maples, but incorporated into the natural landscape. And here Peter's telling us about the bears that he has on the property that often climb up into the trees and sometimes almost get into his house.
Phenomenal place. I love this place in fall color. It's just a special garden. Has a lot of history to Western North Carolina. And one of the things Nakada-san liked most about this was incorporating the natural landscape and some of the native plants in with a lot of the cool plants from Japan.
Now, we'll be doing a full walkthrough of a lot of these gardens later as well. This is sort of an overview of the entire trip with Nakada-san. So pay attention because we'll have a lot more videos coming through on our walkthrough Wednesdays.
We also took Nakada-san and his daughter to the Biltmore house. So we got to go through and check out some of the tropicals, as well as some of the historic Japanese maples of the Biltmore Estate. We had a real good time though showing them around, just kind of spending the whole week with them. We took them on as many cool experiences as we can, whether that was southern food, gardens of our area. We kind of tried to make him have one of the best trips possible. We did a video recently where we talked about Nakakomoto Weepin, and Nakada-san's been in his hospitality when we were on Nippo Nikitai to travel with us to show us the national treasure of Japan. So Tim and I felt a real obligation and just wanted to show him some of the best stuff to our region.
Now, we took him here because a lot of the trees planted here at the Biltmore Estate were planted by the father of landscaping horticulture in Western North Carolina and in the world. And it was really important for him to see sort of this history behind things, but they also had this really cool Chihuly glass exhibit going on at the same time. Yeah,
so we just kind of, blitzed through everything, but took him on a tour of some of our favorite things to see here in the area. And some of that art was just really cool. Happened to be one of the fun things on display that day. So of course we had to get in there and check that out as well. So along with the Biltmore House, we also toured over to Bartlett Tree in Charlotte, which is one of the biggest plant collections in the world. Patrick Franklin was very kind, as well as Adam Black, to take their time to share and show us around a little bit of what they're doing at Bartlett, some of their research. We actually got into a lot of what they're doing, but we also got on a golf cart and kind of took off and really explored.
It's really interesting, all the different research they had going on and the plant collections they had at Bartlett. Matt and I are good friends with them, and we'll have to definitely come back and shoot a lot more videos at Bartlett because there's a lot to see.
There's an endless amount of content to film and see. The conifer collections are amazing. We'll be doing a breakdown of that garden as well. But I think we were almost all overwhelmed that day at the size and just the grandeur of how many plants are there. You could spend a lifetime photographing and videoing all the plants in this collection, and it's just something special.
I see a lot of cultivar highlights in our future here in these gardens because there are so many cultivars and so many trees that just look phenomenal and beautiful. The conifer beds have some really nice raised beds going on, and they have a lot of trails going around to ride golf carts through or vehicles and really enjoy all the trees.
Now this back area here, there's a really phenomenal maple garden. We'll probably do a whole highlight just on that area. But there's a lot of plants specifically from Buckholt's nursery as well as MrMaple in this region.
Yeah, so it was really neat because we were walking around and I'm like, oh, that one just got brought in from Buckholt's nursery. And then I look around the ground and I see one with our tag on it. And I'm like, that one came from us and has been growing here and has filled out quite nicely. Now, one day Nakada-san said, I really want to go out and see some things in the wild. So one evening I took him out to go see Looking Glass Falls. Looking Glass Falls is a local waterfall that we actually named a Japanese maple, Ace palmatum Looking Glass Falls, after. And it has a cascading weeping habit similar to Ryusin, but with some of that purple nail border to it in the early spring. And, I just had to bring Nakada-san here so he could actually see this waterfall out in the wild. We'll be doing a little bit of a video a little bit later talking more about what he was teaching me here at this moment about how to observe nature and how to recreate that in the garden.
One of the things that was really special when we were on Nippon Ikitai is Nakada-san took us into the mountains. We actually went down to a river area and we looked at how the Japanese maples were growing natively there in the landscape. And then we went back to Nakada-san's garden and we recreated what we saw with some of his workers. Now, while Nakada-san was here, he actually laid out some plans for a Japanese garden that we're going to be building here at MrMaple on one of our banks. So we'll have a garden designed by Nakada-san here that incorporates some of what he saw here in Western North Carolina, but with some Japanese maple flair. So kind of a fun little project there we'll be working on going forward. And yeah, just a fun time. Now, we actually got back into the mountains a little bit with Nakada-san. Now, we went up on the parkway to one of our customers' homes, but not far from there was Craggy Gardens. And Corbin was really adamant about getting Nakada-san and his daughter out here to see some of the beautiful nature there because it has a lot of roots, overgrown rocks and things like that. And that was all on our way to Missy and Wayne Galloway's amazing conifer collection. You can see the sunrise and set from their house. It's a phenomenal collection. One of the best conifer collections I've ever been to. And a lot of cool maples in here too from us.
Now, we will be covering this garden in more detail at a later time on our walkthrough Wednesdays. Pay attention because it is coming up. This garden is phenomenal. There's some of the rarest conifers that you'll find in the United States. Many things that you won't find anywhere else except in Missy's garden, and mixed in with cool Japanese maples from MrMaple.
I actually planted these two Tamukiyamas for her about 13, 14 years ago, and they were some of the first of the maples up there in her collection. Now, we also took him to one of our national treasures, which is our friends over at the Hopewood. So, Dennis and Victoria Flanagan were so kind to open their gates. You saw the Hopewood on MrMaple before. They have the largest diameter Japanese maple we know of on the planet, especially for a red. It's one of the largest bases. Nakada-san said for a red Japanese maple, this may be the biggest one on the planet. And that he knows his stuff. I mean, he grows a lot of red Emoenum style trees from seed. And he was really impressed with us. I've had the North American Maple Society here, as well as Talon Buckholz. And there's a 13'6" circumference around this tree. So it's a big base.
That was 3 or 4 years ago, 13'6". It may be 13'7" or 13'8" by now. I mean, this thing really is huge. And then we walked him by nearby at Dr. Criticos' gardens with Dr. John Criticos and Jerry Criticos, who have just amazing gardens. A lot of trees that they got from us years and years ago.
Yeah, it was starting to rain, so this part of the tour was fairly quick. I don't know if we'll have a full video on that, but we'll be back over to the Criticos Gardens to give you guys a tour, maybe in fall color this year. I actually have it from Dennis that we're recording this after the storms in Western North Carolina, and you'll be happy to know the big Hopewood tree survived.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.